when you come and you don't have job. That's the worst part.
A good relationship. Do not joke with it and be like,
I'm going to Canada. Let me. A young lady, you have reached the age to marry. The market is really not easy here. I'm not going.
Another person said the intensity of loneliness applied to 200 jobs, and he only got a few callbacks. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. You know, I love you guys so much. You guys are welcome back to a new video, but this one is a special video. Why? We have
Happiness.
Welcome to the channel, Happiness. I am so glad that we are filming this video.
Same here.
And I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy Happiness. Also, before we forge ahead, I would love to say that we have another part of this video on Happiness's channel. So
yeah,
do well to check it out.
Will be on my channel. So yeah, check out my channel.
Yes,
Happy Explores.
It's going to be on the screen, you guys.
Yes,
it's going to be on the screen. So do well to check Happiness out. Just watch this video, go and watch our own, or watch our own, come back here, however you want to do it, but make sure you watch the second part of this video, because some things that we couldn't cover here, we covered it in that video. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Happiness, you're welcome.
Happy to be here, you guys. Make sure to subscribe to Mara's channel.
So the essence of this video is just to answer some questions that, you know, I put out a Q&A on Instagram and also on YouTube to ask you guys, what do you think about Canada? What do you think about living in Canada? What are the stories that you've heard about living in Canada that maybe scared you, and then you're now here and you think they are not true, or you think they are not heightened enough, or they were not talked about enough? Just those kind of experiences. And I know that I also asked you guys to also drop questions about other concerns that you might have about moving to Canada. So let me put it out there just in case you're seeing us for the first time. I'm a student from Nigeria but schooling in Canada. Happiness too is a Nigerian but also schooling here in Canada, just in case you're seeing us for the first time. All right, but for the OGs, that is the essence of this video. We just want to answer those questions and get you on the experiences of living here. And we are starting off with answering the questions on YouTube, because this is a YouTube video. Okay, we also have some questions on Instagram, but like I said, you're going to see more of that on Happiness's channel. So we're going to answer the first set of questions that we have here. The first question says, as an introvert, how do you make friends in Canada, especially if I arrive in the winter period?
Okay, as an introvert, you need friends.
Are you an introvert, by the way?
I'm an ambivert. It depends on the situation. Sometimes I'm an introvert, sometimes I'm an extrovert. So I like to balance each role I play. So as an introvert, I know it's hard for you to put yourself out there. It's hard for you to approach people, but in a way you need it to survive in Canada. So to make friends, it doesn't necessarily mean you walking up to someone and saying, oh please can you be my friend. It can be through academics. So you can have an assignment and you can decide to meet someone and be like, oh please could you teach me this. From learning about or doing the assignment together, before you know it, you guys are already friends, are technically friends. So you're a student, you're coming here to study. Look for someone in your department to make your friend. You don't need the whole world to be your friend. Even if it's one or two person that is very good and that matches what you want in a friend, then go with it. Make the person your friend. Go to class with the person, check up on that person, but don't expect too much, because we all have something we are doing. We are all working. So if you want to carry friendship in your head or expect a lot from a friend, you might end up being hurt. So you just need to understand that everybody has something that they're doing, and you have to go out, because staying in your house wouldn't bring any friends to you. So you have to put yourself out there, attend social events. There are so many events going on campus, especially during the winter. We don't really have much event because it's snowing, but trust me, if you come to school, there's no way you will not see one or two people. If you're a Nigerian, you definitely see one or two Nigerians. You just stop them and ask your questions and just tell them to introduce you to their Nigerian community. You can decide to attend a church. Like my church, majority of my church members are Nigerians, so I even regard them as family. So they're like my friends. So by the time you go to church, you don't even need to approach them. They will actually approach you and talk to you. If you ever need help, reach out to them. Like that, you're already making friends. By going to church, You can go for any social activities around you. There are so many. There is NSA, Nigerian Student Association. You can join that, and if you ever feel alone or if you ever feel like you need help in one or two ways, you can always reach out. You can also reach out to University of Regina also, or even if you're not coming to the University of Regina as a whole, just look for that community in whichever university or in whichever city you are going to.
Nice. Thank you so much. What Happiness said is actually true, because in Canada you have to be very intentional about making friends. Like, you have to be intentional. When I was back home, I was never intentional about making friends because somehow I met people. But here you have to be you know how you put intentions towards achieving goals, that's the same way you put intentions towards making friends here. And but I don't know the best way to make friends during winter, to be honest. I still think it boils down to going out, but most times during winter people don't go out as much because it's really cold. But then you can also attend events like Happiness said. There are events happening during winter as well. All you need to do is to make a few friends in your class or your school. When you come to school in Canada, there are many Nigerians here now, so don't be shy to approach people. If you're a shy person, just tell yourself, but I need to make friends to survive. Just see it as a skill. Like, all these interpersonal skills, you need them in Canada. And one more thing that helped me when I came here to make friends was attending the orientation. Orientation that we always had. That was the first day I met you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I remember that was the first day I met Happiness. I was just walking out and I saw her. I'm like, oh, are you happy? I'm so happy. Like, I'm still a celebrity.
I know.
Yeah, that was the first day I saw her, but she was not in the orientation. She was just outside.
I was volunteering that
I
day.
think so, yeah. So guys, like most of the friends that I have now that are really cool friends, I met them on that day. Okay, so if you go there that day, you see a lot of Nigerians, and they will even introduce Nigerians, introduce people from different. They will say, "Are you Nigerians?" Because we have a lot of Nigerians here. And don't miss your orientation week. Any activity they have for you during the orientation week, make sure you attend all of them, because that's where you meet people that are also new. All of you will embrace each other and you grow with them.
I think there is no orientation during the winter. That's why it's harder to make friends then, because if it's during fall, because we have when you came it was fall. But winter, I've heard a couple of stories about not knowing the bus system and staying outside while it's too cold. So you just need to prepare, like look for communities to join.
I mean, at the end of the day, the church, like she said, you have to get. If there's no orientation, I don't know what you will do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's Zoom orientation they have for winter. So you just have to wait till like summer to do your orientation. You come winter, but you will survive. There are people that came there and they survived. Just put your mind to it.
But just know that you have to be intentional. Okay. And the next question says, as a fellow lady, do you advise I get married before coming to Canada, or arrive Canada single then go back to get married? I see YouTubers and online commenters referring to how single people are lonely, blah blah blah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, like I don't even know what to say about this. See, like my advice is always going to come from like the values and what I believe in. I do not think that you should get married to anybody because you are coming to Canada, right? I think I had a situation where someone reached out to me about this, okay? And I'm like, you don't have to get married to somebody because you're coming to Canada. Get married to the person because they are your soulmate and they are the love of your life. They are the person you've decided to end up, spend the rest of your life with. You don't have to end up with them because you want to come to Canada and you know that Canada is lonely, you will not be able to find husband. And the crazy thing is that I've met a lot of guys, I've met a lot of people since I came here, but it might not just be, they might not have the orientation and the mindset that you want, for sure. But you meet people if you're intentional about going out and connecting with people. But I'm not going to say you should get married before coming here because it's quite lonely for sure. But if you have a relationship, my sister, my brother, hold on to that person. A good relationship. Do not joke with it.
Don't believe it.
I'm going to Canada. Let me. I don't want to tell you, but if you have a good person you are dating, my dear, keep that person. When you come here, if you're coming as a student, eventually if you come here, if the person wants to join as a student, or when you get your PR or whatever, you want to go back and get married, fine. But don't get married to anybody just because you're moving to Canada. On the second part of it, if you're in a committed relationship with the person, please go ahead and have future plans with them. Because Canada is
really tough, depending, especially if you're young. not a young lady, you have reached the age to marry, the market is really not easy here. I'm not going to lie, because I've seen people tell me their experiences, and even I, like, as I'm saying, I know what I see every day. Because you might come, the mindset does not always align. Majority of the men here, I won't say, like say they're not serious. I don't want to be their mouthpiece.
Most of them are not, honestly.
Based on experience, some of them just want to have fun. They don't have that mindset of, oh, they want to end up with you in the future. So you have to be very intentional about it. So if, like she said, if you have someone, hold on to the person. Just don't let, how they used to say, don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband. I don't know how they used to say it.
A bed at hand. They said a bed at hand is worth two in the bush. Don't go and say you're coming to Canada, you will meet a rich man, or you are coming to meet one lady that is exposed. In fact, the common thing here that I've seen with most of my male friends, so they go back to Nigeria to get married.
Exactly, that's the thing. They live here and go back to Nigeria to get married.
So who is going to marry everybody that is here? So you have to be very, very intentional, but then also know that who is for you will eventually find you. That's just how I see it. So
there's always a time.
You're eventually going to settle. But whatever the situation is, just make sure you're being wise about it. Don't leave your person for greener pastures that you're not seeing.
Exactly.
All right, the third question: if I choose to live off campus, how do I get someone to share apartments with when I do not know anyone?
Okay, for that one, Facebook Market. yes. Although when I came, I was on campus. But I would advise Facebook Market. That's where you will see housing. So when you also look for groups, because I have a Telegram group that I created for Nigerians in this Regina. It has like 600 members. People there are also people that they're still in Nigeria, but they are planning to come here. Some are already here from that group. So you can join groups like that. From there, you meet someone that you could share an apartment with that is always coming the same time, because it's always hard to find somebody that is already here. Because when I came, I didn't see someone that was like here, except for church, and it was through Telegram. I was in one Canada group by Olu. Through that group, I met some people, and then I said, okay, since we don't have, let me create my own. I created, and people joined, and then from there, I got to see people that were actually coming to the University of Regina. From there, I got to see my pastor's daughter that actually helped me with course registration and everything. So you just have to do your research online. So Facebook Markets, you can get houses there, cheap houses. You just bargain the price, and for on campus, that's why it's good to come on campus. I'm not really sure about off campus. But on campus is good if it's just for a while, because it's expensive. Then you just stay there. Then when you have balance and you have gotten off campus accommodation, you can move out.
Exactly. That's also what I tell people. Sometimes when you're coming, because a lot of people ask me about accommodation, when you're coming, sometimes it's best to stay on campus. Then a couple of months after, you can get out, but also be sure the lease, because I also think there's always this clause in the lease that you have to stay for a certain time.
Yes.
So you have to be sure. Read this Canada. Make sure you're reading every document you're signing.
It happened to me. So when I came, I realized that it was too expensive, and then I already made friends. I was like, okay, I want to move out. They told me I cannot move out because I already signed. I have to stay till the contract has expired. I said, okay, what if I move out? They said if I move out, I will still be paying for it. So eventually, I ended up staying on campus. So the best thing is, if you know you don't want to stay for the whole contract, do not sign for that whole. Just tell them you are coming to stay for like 4 days, but you'll be paying a certain amount per night, but it's still cheaper than staying in a hotel, I guess. So after you have stayed for a couple of time and you have made friends and you have known them very well, you can decide, okay, this is the person I want to have as my roommate. That's the best one. But if you can't really know someone you met online, so if you are the type of person that you don't really know how to live with people, you need to know them very well before you live with them. So I would advise to live on campus before you.
Exactly. I remember I just mentioned this because I remember a coursemate that wanted to move out after like 2 months. We started our program and she couldn't move. They said that she had signed a contract. So I'm just like, always make sure you are looking at your contract. And another thing for me, I started living off campus almost immediately I came. I stayed on Airbnb for like 2 weeks and I moved. So how I found my roommate was just through a friend. So you can talk to people. That's exactly what I said. Talking to people, I just said, oh, see, I got an apartment. I'm looking for a roommate, someone to take over the next room. And in less than a week I found someone, and I was just so lucky. She was amazing and stuff like that. So you just have to connect through people. Happiness, the Telegram link that you talked about, would it be possible to put it under the...
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so I'm going to have it under the comment section or the description box, so you can just tap and join. So that way, if you're still in Nigeria, you know that, okay, you are joining and you're getting information. But if you're not in Nigeria and you're already here, you're looking for that, you can also join, because information is always good. You might not need it, but the person next to you might need it. Thank you, Happiness. Please, can you talk about how the public bus system works in Canada?
I just got used to that one recently, because when I first came, I lived on campus, so I don't really used to enter bus like that until I moved off campus. Well, you need a bus pass, number one. It's not something you just enter like Nigeria, that you enter and you give them cash. Like, it's not like Keke, it's not Okada that you just enter and you give them cash. This one you have to be registered. So it's part of the things you do when you first arrive in Canada. You have to register for your classes, register for your student ID, and get your bus pass eventually. So with that bus pass, that is what allows you to enter the bus. You just have to tap it. But if you don't have the bus pass, you need a coin. So you are just coming, right? So you might not have a coin immediately. That's why it's always good to get your bus pass the first week you come, so that it will be easy for you to navigate, because you don't want to waste your money on Uber, because it's very expensive. Even if you want to be using Uber, it's like your money is going, unless you're very rich. So try to get your bus pass. With that bus pass, it's really flexible, because Regina is not actually a very big city. If you go to another city like Toronto, it's actually going to be very big. It's bigger. I've been there. It's bigger than Regina. So you just have to get your bus pass. It's cheaper for you, and it's not like Nigeria. It's very flexible. You just need a bus pass. You tap in.
If you're a student, I think it's already like you
it's
paid
in your tuition.
Exactly, it's in your tuition if you paid for your tuition fee. So all you need to do is, that was one of the first things I did when I arrived. So just come to school. If you're University of Regina Riddell Center upstairs, you just go there, tell them you want to get your bus pass. But I think you have to get your school ID first, because it's being loaded into it. So you have to go to At-Home building first and get your school ID. Then go to Riddell Center and have them load it for you. Then you can tap and tap and tap.
There's something I forgot to say. Okay, bus pass, you need your Google map. I forgot that. You say how to use the bus pass. Sorry, you have to have a Google map. You need to download an app called Google Map. So how it works is that, let's say you are moving from University of Regina to where your house is located. You put in your house address, and there's this is like a whole food tutorial now to use So when you come, just put the address. It will just show you the direction, tell you the number of bus and where you're going to stop. There's always a bus pass for every place. It's like you have the number and a signboard that says, oh, if it's 18, you're entering bus 18 University, bus 4 University. That's how it works. So you just need to find the particular bus stop, wait when the bus comes, use your bus pass, and that's it.
I'm not so good with the bus thing. I also think there's this navigation thing that you have to know where to stand, north, west. I don't know all of that, but it's basic too, right? It's just because someone like me that they don't know geography, so it's bad. But if you know geography, you'll be able to figure it out. But it's just the same thing as using Google Map. Just put where you're going to tell you the nearest bus stop. You go there and stuff. And again, before you get your bus pass, I just thought to share it. If you don't have your bus pass yet from school and you're looking for where to get coin, you can go to dollar store. You can go to any dollar store, just buy like something. That's how I pay for my laundry. I take like $20. I'll go and purchase something of like less than $5. I'll just tell them to give me all my change in coin. So that way I take the money and then I can use it, and because the coin is not something you find easily. So that is also, especially now here that you tap, you use your card to buy everything. So that is what I think.
I don't even use cash like that.
Nobody uses cash here, honestly. I don't even know when last I saw cash. So honestly, this bus system thing, I believe Happiness has done justice to explaining how it works. Another person said the intensity of loneliness.
My brother is here now, but before he came, he's my elder brother. Before he joined me, it was just me. How I dealt with the loneliness was making a lot of friends, and at some point I was like, there were too many. Like the circle was getting big and I had to withdraw myself, because I don't really like when I'm in the space filled with so much people. So the loneliness is there because at some point I was living alone. When I first came, I was in a 2-bedroom apartment. I had a roommate. She was a quiet person, and we used to relate once in a while. But for me to get over not being alone or not being bored was hanging out with people that were my classmates or people that I got to know that they were Nigerian. Any Nigerian I saw that period, I would say, you're my friend. But that's not how it worked. So, but with time, you get used to it. You have to get used to being on your own in this Canada. You don't need to depend on anybody. That's the thing. But once you start depending on people, you will get hurt. So I'm not going to say it's not lonely. It gets lonely at some point, but you need to find what makes you not feel lonely. Like for me, I like going to the gym. So when I go to the gym, I use my time there. I know that I'm investing in my health. I'm being fit, so it helps with my mental health and all of this stuff. Sometimes I go for church activities. That is the way I meet people. I meet church people. I don't feel lonely. I regard them as my family. And YouTube is like one of the things that I do as a hobby to also not feel lonely. And you call your loved ones all the time so that you also not feel lonely. You need to keep that communication going. And don't sit in your room and be like, Canada is this, that. Because once you start feeling like that, that's when depression starts. So you need to find what works for you. You need to put yourself out there. Don't always, it's good to stay on your own, but before you know it, that feeling of loneliness develops. So to come out of that, you need to get out of your comfort zone, and you need to be strong and be able to stay on your own.
Thank you, Happiness, for sharing. For real, like the intensity of loneliness in Canada cannot even be overemphasized, to be honest. It's very lonely. I'm going to be the one to break it to you.
During winter.
Especially I don't want to use that word, but it is very lonely. So like we already said earlier, you have to be intentional about so many things, how you spend time. This one is not people, friends will come to you. You have to go and make friends, because the loneliness is crazy. And then I feel like maybe people don't talk about it a lot. We are just saying it on this video, you are hearing it, it's lonely. But you will not understand it till you come here.
Yes.
You are still in Nigeria where
when you come and you don't have job. That's the worst part. And you are always at home, like you don't have job, you don't have money. You just be like, God, what am I going to do? That's when depression hits it. So
it's actually very lonely. So for sure, when you're coming to Canada, always come with that mentality that I'm just telling you guys, these people that are not here yet, come with the like braced up mentality that you're going to, fight this no matter what, because it is actually very lonely. It gets really lonely and depressing for sure. But like Happiness said, intentional, go out, make friends, connect with people. It's going to help you, but also enjoy your own company, because people are not always going to be there.
There are ways to overcome the loneliness. Just find something, find a hobby, something to do. Once you start feeling like me, once I start feeling lonely or feeling like I'm tired, this thing is not working out, I just leave my room. Because if you leave yourself indoor and you feel lazy, before you know it, depression starts. You start comparing yourself with other things. So just need to find, like me, I go to church, I pray to God about it, or I hit the gym, that's just it, or I read a book or watch Netflix. Why are you lonely? Bro, especially when you get a job, you're working, you don't even have the time to feel lonely. You have bills to pay, you need to start going out.
That's another thing for sure that I was going to talk about. This place is also a very busy place.
Yeah, before you know it, time is going.
I can't believe it's almost a year that I've been here. Like in Nigeria back then, I know how the year used to stretch. Right now it's already a year because it is so busy. Back to back school, back to back work. So you might not always feel it, but just know that there is that loneliness here for sure. The next question that we have is not getting a job after 2 months of being there and not being able to acquire all the scholarship needed for my smooth stay in Canada. Back home, people thought that, or people think that, when you come to Canada, there is too many jobs, so many opportunities, so many scholarships. But to be honest, the job thing is hard. There is recession in every part of the world. It's not just Canada. The world is experiencing like really, really economic drought. So I was just telling Happiness that a friend was telling me yesterday that a certain organization put out for one position in Regina, as small as Regina is, 500 people applied for a position. Like this is not even a very big position, to be honest. So you wonder, like, of course, there are that hard times of finding a job. You're always going to experience it, especially when your field is not in a very high demand field, you might experience that. But just know that Canada is still way better than Nigeria. Okay, over time you might get a job. A friend of mine that is in a different province once told me that he's applied to 200 jobs.
Wow.
And he only got a few callbacks and a few interviews, and actually none of them, he didn't land any job with any of them. So it's tough for sure, honestly. So you don't have to. 2 months is also a small time for you to. I got my first job here, like my first actual job, 4 months after I came here. So you have to be patient, and that is actually a reality. So when you come to Canada, don't expect that you're going to land your first job immediately, or like after you're going to just 2 months you're going to land a very good job.
Don't believe all those things on TikTok.
Honestly,
I bought my first car after 1 week. All those things that are lies.
It's not.
Or
It's not
maybe
the reality.
is very rich before
Back
coming.
home, yes.
So don't believe that. You don't
Yes.
think it's Canada.
So your experience is going to be different. And also, some people actually have good landing and they're able to maybe get 1 or 2 things. But the reality is that it's not always as we have it in our head. So you have to come with less expectation.
Just
I
be
would
ready.
say less expectation.
When I came, I didn't come with the expectation that it's all going to be very good. I came with that. I came with the mindset that I know this thing is not going to be easy, but I can do it. So have that mindset. So if you're coming, you think that once I come, everything is going to be perfect. My sister, my brother, that's a big lie. That is not true. And that is how it is everywhere.
Yeah.
You just have to put yourself out there. Okay, I got my first job, I think after a month or within 1 month I came. But that was by luck, because I didn't have any Canadian experience. And I also got a job on campus because I took summer classes. Then I got a job in a Nigerian restaurant. I worked for a month, and while I was working there, I was still applying for other jobs because I knew that this is not what I want to do. It was really stressful for me then. I think in the 2nd month I got 3 offers from school, so I had to quit that job to continue my school job. I scaled through and I got the job. So you just need to keep applying. And meanwhile, before that, I was applying on Indeed and I wasn't getting any feedback. And yes, because you are applying, there are other people that have been here before you that have all those experiences. Let's be realistic. You wouldn't expect them to leave all those people and pick you. So you need to put something in your resume that makes you stand out.
Guys, so I know you guys won't know this, but we've been recording for at least maybe 10 minutes, and this wasn't recording, the battery died. But we are back here. So I don't know where we left off on the question we were talking about, but I know you already got the answer. Then this person says, I would like you to elaborate more on documents I would need to apply for visa if I am using my employer as a sponsor, and what's the most reasonable balance that should be in the company's account if the person is acting as a sponsor. Honestly, you guys should be fair too. I have a video on this, okay? I have a video on proof of funds. It's a 45-minute video. It's packed. So please go and watch that video, because there's nothing I will explain here that you would understand. And of course, your employer can sponsor you, okay? So let's go to the next question. I heard Canada is too lonely and one can easily be depressed due to the loneliness. Please, how true is that? Because as a Nigerian YB, I can't be in an environment that is too quiet. It's crazy, but I'm just going to summarize because we've talked about this and I don't want to stress happiness. So of course it's lonely because we've talked about loneliness, right? It's very lonely, but I feel like it's not enough reason for you not to leave Nigeria if that is your passion or if that's what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, Nigeria is not also the best. There's also downsides of living in Nigeria, and I know you are coping. So that is why you also have the downside of living in Canada, which is partly loneliness. But we also talked about going to a province that is lively, because Regina here is not kind of dry.
Doesn't have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. So you might consider going to bigger provinces, but also consider your pocket as you're doing that, because some of those provinces are also like more expensive. But our opinion is that it shouldn't be enough reason for you not to want to come to Canada. Loneliness, you'll be fine, don't worry.
Yeah, you need to learn how to be on your own
too, right? Yeah, because it's not like at the end of the day you even have the time to be going out every day, mingling with people. You might not even have so much time for that, honestly. So that shouldn't be enough reason, okay? But I understand your fears, but don't be scared, okay? Please recommend affordable flights or airlines when coming to Canada.
We talked about looking up for cheap flights. I know now they're very expensive, But you can check out ℙ𝕤𝕤𝕤, or if you book it directly from their website, I think it's more expensive. But if you book it, there's some agents online. I've forgotten the name, but if I remember, I can link it. Can write it on the screen, but they have cheap flights available for them. So another thing you can do, if you have someone in Toronto, you can decide to book your flight from Lagos to Toronto, and it's going to be cheaper for you compared to booking it all the way to Regina. Then after staying in Toronto for like 1 week or 2 weeks, you book your flight from Toronto to Regina. It's way cheaper that way. So
honestly, we talked about using Ethiopia Airline, Egypt Air. Those are a bit more cheaper, not a lot, compared to like Lufthansa. This person says, I cannot come with my family immediately. That is one of the things that you've heard about Canada. Well, I talked about it. I mentioned that sometimes the reason why people say don't come with your family immediately is because you might get denied. When they see that, oh, you're coming with your family, they might think you're just running away from the hardship in your home country, you know. So, but when you come alone and leave your family behind, oftentimes those family members serve as family ties for you, okay? They know that, okay, you have kids back home, you go back. So that is why sometimes people would advise you to go without your family first. Then when you come here after a while, you can apply for your family, because Canada, they do not like to separate families. They are big on families, so you might get your visa. So there are a lot of things and there are a lot of reasons why people say you don't have to come with your kids immediately. It's an option, but if you don't want that, you don't have to do it. You can persevere and apply, but with them, apply for visas, you're coming with them. But just know that that would mean more money, because you have to add additional 4,000 Canadian dollars for each dependent you're coming with. All right, so let's get to the next question. Cost of living is very expensive. Can't afford to live with basic needs fulfilled by working minimum wage for 40 hours a week.
Very true, that's very true. But like, if it's just cost of living and you're working 40 hours a week with the minimum wage, I think that's enough. Like, at least in a month you should be making like 1K plus if it's 40 hours in a week. That should cover your cost of living. But if you're going to be paying your rent and tuition, that's not going to cover half of it. So you still need to take like at least 2 more jobs, and you are studying, and it's going to be a lot on you. But if it's just like cost of living, then that's okay for you.
Well, honestly, this question, of course, Canada is expensive, because people think that, oh, it's less, maybe since Nigeria is hard, it's easier here. It's not. The only difference is that the currency has some value and you're earning more, right? And then you can now afford some of those things that you can't afford back home. It's not like it's that cheap, or so there's money you can just throw around.
They always have like this installment payment plan. Like it's not like Nigeria that rich man has house, has car, like you can't. But even let me not say poor man, a middle person can afford to get all those things, because they make it easier for you, because you can pay monthly, you can pay bi-weekly. You're not expected to pay it once unless you have the money to pay one. People get houses on mortgage, and those people that are rich, that are working jobs that is giving them 100K in a year, but still they take mortgage and they pay for house monthly. So you can afford anything.
Honestly, that's also it.
That's like even iPhone in Nigeria, iPhone is a very big thing. Like, you have to be very rich to have an iPhone. But very easy. Because just can pay monthly. Financing makes it easy. That's one thing I like about you.
They make life easy. But then another thing is that some Nigerians also come here and they go and start collecting things on credit, or they give you credit card. They gonna tap.
Don't do it too much.
They gonna tap. Not tap. Yeah, tapping.
When you enter West, you will know how far.
So you have to be careful. They put all those things in place too for.
They'll give you as much as you want, but you so just, you know how they say wise about it.
The gift of devil. How do they even say that thing? Devil's gift is like, bring one head, give one head, bring another 2 head. You keep. So this place, like, if you're not careful, now I just set up this whole tapping thing with my phone. So I don't even need my card. I just need my phone. Pam, I tap it. So if I go to any store now, I can get anything. But please don't use your credit like that, because at the end of the day, you're paying with interest. I hope you know. And I think someone asked a question about building a credit score, but it was actually a question on Instagram. So we are going to be answering some of those questions on Happiness's channel.
Yeah.
So head over there. And with this, we've come to the end of this video.
Yeah.
We had a lot of questions, and it's so sad that we missed like the previous clip that we shot. Like
we lost
it, and it's so sad. But then I think we also did well covering some of them here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of this type of video, please leave a comment.
Tell us what are the things you want us to work on. What are the kind of videos that you want us to do together? Do you want us to go out there, talk to people for you guys? Like, do you want group videos? Do you want more people in this kind of videos? Do you want us to bring more people to share their experiences and all of that stuff? Just let us know in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe. Check out our channel, subscribe down below, and also don't forget to follow us on social media. Instagram, follow us there. Watch out for our stories, because one or two we always share one or two things there. Like, even if you don't reply your DM, just check out our Instagram. We always post something on our stories, so that will keep you updated. And thank you so much for watching, and let's head to my channel to continue those videos.
So let's go. I love that you did the outro for me. Okay, you guys have heard from Happiness. I'll see you in her video if you haven't seen it already. Bye.